All right, what's today's? Oh, it's June 1st,
Yes.
2013.
Right.
We've got a little family brunch going.
Right.
Darren and Rebecca, and Aya and Jesse,
Right.
and Nick and Catherine, and Logan and Hazel, and we've got Leslie and Neil, and Elizabeth. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody. And here we got Aunt Millie. All right, so Aunt Millie's going to give a little. We're going to see what we can do about a little verbal family history.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, so here we go. So, in age order, Uncle Hank was the baby, and Cy was the oldest.
The twins were in between.
Twins were in between.
Mac was second from the youngest.
So, okay, so it was going from
Going from Uncle Cy
yeah,
to the oldest, down to the twins.
right,
Who were about a year or 11 months apart.
right.
Then came Max.
Nat and George, and then Uncle Max.
Right, and then Mac was 4 years older than Hank. Hank was the baby.
That's why he was the baby, because he was
Right.
4 years younger than
Max.
Uncle Max, who was fourth in line.
Right.
Okay, so their parents were.
Cy was exactly 10 years older than I. His birthday was December 5th, I think. Mine
Yep,
is
that's exactly right.
December
Yep.
7th.
Yeah. Okay.
We were 10 years apart. He was 10 years older.
I did not realize that.
Sure. Cy was 10
Or
years
if I
older.
knew, I forgot.
Right.
Cy was 10 years older.
So,
Do you remember his 80th birthday?
I do.
yeah.
That was celebrated at your mother's apartment?
Yes.
And I was 70, the same, we cut the cake together.
That's right. I said I
you
knew, but I
remember?
forgot.
Okay, so Grandma Jenny, push the bottom thing there, the bottom of the circle. Grandma Jenny,
No.
and let's talk about the boys' parents.
Right,
Okay, Grandma Jenny and Grandpa Morris,
right,
Lomachinsky,
right.
and Grandma Jenny's maiden name we decided was
Rodberg.
R-O-D.
D-B-E-R-G. I
Okay.
believe it was spelled that
Right.
way.
And Grandma Jenny had brothers, sisters?
I only remembered really a sister. What was it? What was Jenny's sister's name?
Minnie?
Aunt
Leslie.
Minnie. No, that's what
Aunt
it
Minnie.
was. Aunt Minnie.
Aunt Minnie.
Aunt Minnie and Uncle Nathan.
That's
Aunt
right.
Minnie and Uncle
That's
Nathan.
right.
So
And
Nathan
they
was
had a restaurant.
where?
It's somewhere in Newark, Prince Street or one of the, areas.
What was it called?
I don't remember. Because by the time I came into the family, he was almost retired. They were quite elderly already. It was an older sister, and I don't remember. But I know that they were, restaurant people.
Leslie, did Grandma Jenny have anybody other than
Aunt Minnie?
Aunt Minnie?
I don't know, but I know Aunt Minnie's last name was Kirshner, and Jookie is her son, who was a taxi driver.
Jookie was her Minnie's son?
Yeah,
Jookie?
sure.
How do you spell
There were
Jookie?
two.
How do you spell
It
Jookie?
may have been Jack, and Jookie was like a nickname.
J-O-O-K-Y.
But
Yeah. Hang
there
on,
were
Hazel, we're listening
two.
to
There were, I
Aunt
think
Millie.
she had two sons. Jookie was the youngest one, and he was a pain in the neck. Right? He was a taxi cab driver. He was a pain. But the other brother, I don't remember. I know there was another brother though.
There was, and what about Grandpa Morris? Brothers, sisters?
Yes, he had a sister, and he had a couple of brothers. In fact, there was a set of twins. He had twin brothers.
Another set of twins.
Right. Uncle Nathan was one of them, and I don't know what the second one was. And then there was a sister.
What was her name?
Trying to think. I'll think about it. But there was an older sister, and then there was the brother.
And so there was twins, a brother, a sister,
Yeah.
and Grandpa Morris.
Right.
And he was, tell me what he did for a living.
Well, they were both in the coal business.
In the coal business.
Yeah.
It was Lomachinsky Coal? Something like
I
that.
think so. I was friendly. I lived across the street from his brother. And I used to go to the coal place every day. As a little one, they would cross me, you know, over the street. The oldest daughter they had was Gussie, and Gussie was the bookkeeper. Gussie used to take me at 3 and 4 years old to sit on the desk while she did the bookkeeping. So that goes back, let's see, 90 years. Yeah, 89 years, sure. I lived there until I was, about 4 years old. And no, I was in kindergarten. And then the neighborhood sort of changed, and my family decided it was time to move. But I was friendly with the other Lomachinskis more so. I didn't know Mac or his family. I knew the other side.
So everybody was in Newark.
Oh, in those years,
Catherine?
What?
In those, sorry, go
in
ahead.
those years, everyone was in Newark.
Everybody was in Newark.
No, we
All the
didn't.
Lomachinskis, all
Right.
the Rodbergs, all
I
your,
didn't
all
know-
your. What was
I
your, what was your,
only heard-
what's your maiden name?
Binstock.
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 And you don't know what Grandpa Morris and his brother Max were in the coal
They
business.
had a falling out.
Oh, they had a-
weren't on very
So they
good
were
terms.
in the coal business together, and then they had a falling out.
Right.
And did they?
Right, and
did
they were separate by the time
two
the
two
boys-
separate coal businesses?
Right. They were two separate coal businesses.
Did they ever reunite or?
I don't remember them ever really getting together. You know, I know that at any occasion, the other family was not invited. And yet the boys were friendly with their cousins.
Oh, that because
Yeah.
because the wives were friendly?
No, the boys, my father was angry at his brother, yet I was still friendly with my cousins, even though my father and their
Because
father-
everybody was local.
Well,
Everybody was in the same
yeah.
neighborhood, right? So
Right,
even if they
right.
didn't get along,
Right, we were always, the cousins were together. But the brothers always in those years, if they were in business together, there was always a breakup.
you gotta.
I'm trying to remember, there was Helen was one of the cousins.
Who's what-
Mac and Helen, who was his cousin.
Uncle Max, your husband, and
And-
his cousin Helen, who was a daughter of Max's Uncle Max.
Right.
They
right.
were friendly.
They went to school together, holding hands. They went to kindergarten together.
Wow.
So the children of both brothers were friendly.
What was the name? What was the name of the neighborhood in Newark?
Well, I don't remember.
What would it have been
What did they call the third ward? It was
The
called
third-
the third ward.
The third ward in
So
Newark.
it's called, and they used to go to the YMHA every day. The boys, as they grew up, they were, didn't Grandpa tell you about his swimming? He was a breaststroke champion in high school. Yeah, he was,
What high school did he go to?
he went to Southside.
South Side.
They all went. Si went to Southside. I think one of the twins went to Central. That was a high school then.
And what about Weequahic? Was that?
I went to Weequahic.
You went to. So
I was
did my
6
mother.
years.
Did Leslie go to Weequahic?
No. Leslie went to Columbia. By that time, we had moved already to South Orange.
Got it.
So Leslie went to Columbia, Peter went to Columbia.
And
But
you went.
I went to Weequahic.
Wow, Weequahic. Yeah, Weequahic's
Right.
story.
Graduated in 1938.
So you graduated from Weequahic before Mom was even born. So she was.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wasn't married. I was what, 18 years old. I was 18 years old.
All right. So who else in there? What other family? What about Jenny and Morris's parents?
I never knew them.
Where did they come from? Do you remember?
I think one of them came from, I think they came from Romania, what was then Romania.
Right.
Because I used to hear them, discussing it, but I didn't know of them having parents or anything like that.
So they weren't.
I never heard, and I never had grandparents. So I never had.
Well, probably you had grandparents.
Well, I mean, I never knew of grandparents.
Right.
When my folks came to this country, I mean, they were relatively young. My father was educated.
Where did they come from?
Was an accountant. My family came from Russia.
From where in Russia?
My father came from Odessa. My mother, I'm not sure. She never spoke much of it. It was a little part of Russia, I'm sure.
They came together. Did they come together?
No, they came separately. But they met in this country and were married in this country.
So Jenny and Morris.
They may have.
What year? What year did you marry Uncle Max?
Let's see. The war was in 1941. We were married January the 4th. It would be 1942.
42. So Jenny and
I was
Morris.
engaged that November of 41.
You were engaged in November and you married in January?
No. We were engaged for a year.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was engaged at 20 when the war started. We had already been engaged for a year, and then we're married January 4th, and by that time it was 1942.
Got it. Okay, so Jenny and Morris would have been.
They were elderly. Well, you know, in those years, parents, even when they were young, looked old.
Right.
So I don't remember my mother ever looking truly young. I don't remember Jenny ever looking young.
She had 5 boys. That's it.
And God knows how many abortions in those years. That's what they did. But I don't. I can't really. I don't remember them
So let's
ever
say-
looking like you remember your grandmother
Yeah.
and grandfather. They were young. When
Right.
you were a little boy, they were young. Right?
Yeah.
And even almost until they got old, they looked young. Our parents in those years didn't look young, even if they were.
So let's say they were in their 50s, probably,
Probably.
and which would mean that their parents probably weren't alive.
No. As I say, my folks' parents never came to the States.
Right.
I don't remember hearing that Jenny and Morris's parents ever being here. So I'm assuming that either
Right.
they died or remained in Romania or
Right.
Russia, wherever.
Do you think they came over together, Jenny and Morris?
They may have. That I don't know. They may have come over.
But it was never.
No, they never talked about them.
Interesting.
I never heard them mention it. They didn't even talk about, actually, he didn't talk about his brother, the one that I knew so well. He never, and I even remember the wife. I even remember, forget what her name was, but she had light blonde hair, and then of course it turned gray.
The brother's wife,
Right.
Max's wife.
Max's wife. I remember all of them.
Maybe it was Millie.
Her name wasn't Millie.
That would be funny.
There was Helen, a child, Gussie, and then there was one in the middle. I can't think of her name right now. But Gussie was the oldest, and Helen was Max's age. I'm telling you, they went to school together, holding hands.
Unbelievable. All right, this is the end of part 1.